Hi, this is Wanda from Alanda Craft, and today we're going to show you how to make these beautiful little pouches. And these are great for beginners because we're going to take you step by step through putting in a zip. So awesome little zippered pouches, ideal for so many things: makeup, receipts, crayons, pencils. So let's get on and make some. So this is what you'll need. 3 layer cake squares, they're 10 inches by 10 inches, but if you don't have those you can just cut 3 pieces of material 10 inches by 10 inches. So we have one piece for the main, which is the outside, then we have a piece for our decoration here, and the other piece is for our lining. Okay, now the tab will also come from the same piece as you do your decoration with. We'll also need a 12-inch zip. Now what we're going to do is take the piece that's for our decoration, so this piece along here, and we're going to cut 2 strips 2.5 inches wide, and we're going to mark a 1/4 inch from the edge on each of these. So just take your ruler, using a friction pen or a water-soluble pen, and just draw a line down here. Then we're going to take these and fold the 1/4 inch edges in and iron them down. So that's what that will look like, and we're going to top stitch those onto the main piece, and then we're going to cut our tab from this piece, but we'll do that shortly. So as you can see, we've now ironed down the 1/4 inch on each side of these decorative pieces, which are these ones here, and now I'm taking the main piece, which is our main piece of our bag, and I'm going to measure, and as you can see here I've already drawn it on, but 3.5 inches from the top, and draw a line, and again on the other side. So 3.5 inches down, draw a line. And what we're going to do then is to line up our decorative pieces along that line, so on each side, and then we're going to top stitch and do a few rows of stitching along. So you can see here we've done a few rows. You can use a decorative stitch on your sewing machine, you can do this any way you like, but we're just going to do some top stitching and then some rows in between. So I'm going to do that now. So now I'm going to top stitch along here, and I'll top stitch along that side, and then I'll come back and I'll do the in-between lines. So I'll go and do that now. And what you can do if you want is you can actually draw some lines on there if you think that will help you to keep it straighter, or you can just eyeball it or line it up with something on your machine, which is what I've done. I'm using the slide into the walking foot and I'm lining that up on my top stitch row, and then I'll just line it up with each row as I complete them. From our remaining fabric, decorative fabric, we're going to cut our tab, and what I've done is cut a strip 2 inches wide. Now this one here is the full width, the 10 inches. You can make it shorter if you wish, but we've used the full width of the square. We're going to take that piece of material, and what we're going to do, now this is how we do all our handles. You can make it in a tube if you wish, but we fold it in half and iron it. Then we fold each of these into the centre, each side, and we'll press them, and then we'll just join it up, just fold it over like that, and top stitch around. Okay, so as you can see, I've top stitched on both sides of the tab now, and so that's all ready to go and be sewn into the side of the purse. Now we come to the zipper part, and I'm going to take you through this carefully because if you're a beginner, zippers are always a bit scary. So what we're going to do is we've got a zipper here, and it's our 12-inch zipper as we said before. I'm going to measure 1/4 inch in from each end of my main piece of fabric. Now you can see here we've got metal stoppers. That's to stop the zip going off the end. So what I want to do is I want to take that stopper piece and line it up with my 1/4 inch mark there. Okay, now I will pin it, although this is not the final step, it's just to hold it in place. Now come along to the mark that I've made on the other end, and because our zip is long, we need to cut it. We have a stop here, and that's to stop the zip going off this end. So we need to make sure we've got a stop for our zip. So I've put a mark here, and it lines up with our 1/4 inch mark on our fabric. And I'm going to just go to the machine and zigzag that across so I have a new stop mark. So you want to put on your general foot or your zigzag foot on your machine. You want to set to a zigzag, and you want a wide zigzag so that your needle doesn't hit the zip. but you want to set the stitch length to a very low number so that the machine isn't moving forward. Then just hand crank it just to make sure that you're in the right spot and that it's going to work well, and then just simply do a few zigzags, right, and a bit of a tie off. There we go. So there we are, we've made our new stop for our zip. Okay, so I now have my zip with its new ending. I've got my lining and my main piece. The first thing I'm going to do is cut 1/4 of an inch from that mark that we have on there. So it doesn't matter if it's a bit more, but just you can always trim it up later. Cut that through. Right. Now, my main piece is right side up. I'm going to place my zip right side down. Remember to match up our little marks that we have in our metal piece. Right, and my lining is going to go face side down, and I'm going to sandwich the zip between the lining and the main piece. Okay, so marks are all lined up, and I'm going to pin. Okay, so just make sure you catch that zip in there. And you're going to use a zipper foot to sew this on. The zipper foot allows you to get as close to the zipper teeth as you can. Okay. Right, so I'll go and sew that, and when we come back I'll show you what it looks like, but that's how it will look. So now I have my zipper foot on. You'll need to check with your manual to see how to put your zipper foot on. And what I've done is I've opened the zip a little way, just for when we get started. And I've actually increased my stitch to about 260. Alright, so here we go. You can feel your zip, and you can come as close to that as you can. Now I'm going to put the needle down. And I'll just close that zipper up. I'll attempt to. There we go. Okay, so now I can just sew the rest of the way without worrying about the zipper head. So now we have our zip sewn into one side. This is what it looks like when we lay it flat. Here's our lining, here's our zip and our main piece. So now we have to attach these two pieces to this side of the zip. So I'm going to take my main piece, bring it up and lay it against the zip. And then I'll pick those two pieces up, just flip it under. And I'm going to bring the lining up so that it lays along the top of the zip. So again, I've sandwiched the zip between the main piece and the lining piece. So we'll just pop a couple of pins in there, and then I'll pin it properly and we'll go and sew it. So this is what it'll look like. This side has your lining, you've got your zip in the middle, and this side has your folded main piece. Okay, so before we start sewing, I just want to show you that I've opened the zip about 1/3 of the way down. It doesn't really matter, it's just that you need it open at the start. Okay. So the sewing foot. And now just lift that open. Just reach in there, find the head of the zipper and just do it up. And continue to sew. Okay, so we've got our zip in now. So what we're going to do is we're going to open the zip up to about halfway. This is to help us when we turn this bag through when it's finished being sewn. Then we're going to sew down each side 1/4 of an inch. And we're going to leave an opening on the lining side for turning the bag through, which will then just top stitch after to neaten off. So we want to make sure when we come to pin and sew that we have our decorative pieces matching nicely. And now's the time we want to pop in our tab. So we're just going to fold it in half and slip it into the main side, so not the lining, on the main side of your pouch, and down about half an inch or so, it doesn't really matter, and we're going to pin that there. Now we're also going to make sure when we come to pin that we put our tapes of our zips back towards the lining side. Okay. And the same on the other side. Alright, so I've sewn down the seams and I've left my opening, and now we're going to turn it through. I just trimmed off the bits of the zip that were extending past the bag. So here we go, it's just a matter of working it slowly through. So you can see why you leave the two openings. You have the side opening to turn it through to start with, and then the zipper opening is open so that you can turn it through to the right side. There we are. So I'll come back and I'll top stitch that little bit there, turning the edges in to neaten that off. Okay, so we've ironed this, the lining, and ironed the seams inside, and we're just going to top stitch this now. You can hand sew it if you want, but it is in the inside and it is in the lining, so it doesn't really matter. So we'll start here and sew along just to close the opening. You can back stitch at each end or you can tie it off, whatever you like to do. So there we are, all finished. Great little pouch, looks awesome. So if you found this tutorial useful, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more great tutorials.